Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, then welcome. My name is Pompberry, and today we're going to be celebrating May the 4th be with you, Star Wars Day. It's a great day for Star Wars fans, but unfortunately, this Star Wars fan didn't plan ahead, so I'm not posting this on May 4th. I apologize, but the picture did go up on my Instagram of this look on May 4th, so I'm posting it a little bit later, but it's okay. And you know why? Because today I'm going to be dipping in to my untouched Pat McGrath Star Wars collection. I still haven't dipped into this. I still haven't even opened it yet because I wanted to open it on camera and I was just in such a funk. When I got these, I had like no ideas for makeup looks. I wanted to do a video for each palette, but obviously that didn't happen. And then time went by and I kind of just left this on my shelf and kind of forgot about it. But today we're gonna dip into it, we're gonna use it. And a lot of people told me like, oh, you shouldn't use it. It's like such a special collection. You should just keep it sealed. But listen, I spent a lot of money on this, okay? I do not get Pat McGrath PR. And also, I wasn't able to get the two smaller palettes, so I had to get them from a reseller, i.e. a scalper. So I did pay more than they're worth for those, which normally I wouldn't do. I don't like supporting scalpers, but I had to have this collection. I just did. If you didn't know that I'm a huge Star Wars nerd, well, then now you know. And Pat McGrath is one of my all-time favorite makeup artists, so I could not get the entire collection. But anyway, today I'm going to be doing a Sith-inspired look, hence the red contacts. So I'm thinking I will pale myself down. I'll probably give myself like white-gray skin. So it's going to be a little bit on like the character makeup side, but I still want to make it look really pretty and really like avant-garde and high fashion. So we'll try to blend both worlds. So I think that's all I've got to say. So I'm going to jump straight into it. But before I begin, please don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already. So I think I'm going to give myself a pale gray base. Oh my god, my face is so itchy and I don't know why. Oh, I just washed my face and used my regular skincare, so I don't know what's going on. I'm going to start off with the Mayron Clown White Light, and I'm going to mix a little bit of the Makeup Forever Color Stick in M100, it's the black, to create a pale gray base. So I've just mixed it on the back of my hand with a little spatula, and I didn't want to go too light because I want to be able to highlight with white, but I also didn't want to go too dark, so just like a nice mid-tone gray. And oh my god, I swear to god, if my face does not stop itching, it better stop once I get this makeup on, otherwise I am going to destroy whatever I put on my face. Okay, and I'm just going to apply that with a beauty blender. For my neck and ears, I'm going to be using water activated face paint just because it's just easier to use that on those areas. Putting cream in your ears is just not something I want to do. I would just rather use something that comes off really easily with soap and water. And I'm not really basing myself on any specific character or any specific alien race from Star Wars, although I am drawing a lot of inspiration from Asajj Ventress and the Dathomirian Zabrax, just because she's my favorite character. Even though they changed her story and kind of ruined her, I liked her way before she was in the TV show, in the cartoon. I liked her in the comic books. They changed her for the series, so I'm not a huge fan of that. She was like absolutely gorgeous in the comic books, and then they turned her into like an ugly like blah in the animated series, which I didn't like. And like also the fact that in the cartoon they kind of stayed loyal to her character design, but in the CGI animation they completely changed her. They changed her tattoos and gave her lines down her mouth, which made her look like a marionette, and I did not understand that at all. So ignore that Asajj Ventress and look into the comic book Asajj Ventress. She's freaking awesome. She's actually like one of my dream cosplays, and I actually had started making her cosplay when I was way younger, but I never finished it. And when I had a shaved head, I ended up not being able to cosplay her, which is a huge bummer. But it's kind of one of the reasons I want to shave my head again, is to be able to cosplay all the badass bald chicks that I haven't gotten the the chance to cosplay yet, like her and Tank Girl and the bald alien from The Fifth Element. Once that's done, once you're happy with the coverage and no skin is like peeking through or anything, then make sure there's no creases around your eyes, both under and on the lids, and then it's time to powder. I'm gonna go with my RCMA No Color powder that's inside this cute little Anasui powder holder, and I'm just going to heavily powder my entire face. Just really go in there. Don't be afraid of the powder. It's gonna feel awful, but that's how you know it's working. And while I let that set my face, I'm gonna go in with the Snazaroo water activated face paint in the color light gray, I believe. Yes. I'm going to use this on my ears and neck. I don't know if it's a perfect match to the color on my face, but it's a darn good one, so that's what we're gonna use. But yeah, with this, you don't have to be crazy precise with it. Just make sure there's no skin peeking through. Don't make it too watery, otherwise you won't have that much coverage. And the advantage to this paint is that you don't have to set it. It just dries and sets itself, and it doesn't smudge or anything, so it's better for applying to areas where it's going to rub against clothing. It's still gonna come off, but not in the same way. I'm definitely going in with more than one layer to really get a nice opacity. And then once that's done, I can go ahead and dust off the excess powder that is on my face. And there's a lot of it. And as you can see, I look pretty flat, so I want to add some dimension to my face, and I'm going to start by highlighting with the Sugar Pill Matte Shadow in the color Taco, and I'm going to highlight the high points of my face, but I really want to give myself really high cheekbones, so I'm going to highlight pretty close to my eye and bring it up. I want to make my face look snatched, as they say. But today, the focus is not on what I'm doing right now. The focus is going to be on the Pat McGrath palettes, because I've been wanting to play with those palettes for so long. It's not even funny. And yes, I could have highlighted and contoured with cream as well before setting my face, but I don't know why, I just didn't really feel like doing that. So, all powder it is. And you can see that's already starting to make a difference. Gonna take it on my chin, on the Cupid's bow, down my nose, and I'm gonna use a smaller brush for that to be more precise, and my forehead too. So for the nose, I'm taking like a little brush, doing like a little dot at the end, basically like an exclamation point, and then kind of blending those together a little bit. So every year I kind of forget about May the 4th, like until a day before it's happening. I forget to plan ahead. I've been wanting to get designs shaved on the side of my head for the Rebels and the Imperial Army for so long, but I always forget to plan ahead. And now I wouldn't even be able to do that if I wanted to, because quarantine. But I figured since I had the Pat McGrath collection, I could not use it. So here we are, and I'm gonna try to make this. I don't know if high fashion is the right word. I don't know if it's gonna turn out high fashion, if it's gonna turn out costumey. I don't know. But I am just here to enjoy the ride, basically. I kind of know the look that I'm going for, but also at the same time have no clue. That's usually how most of my looks go. The white isn't sticking to the base as much as it usually does. Like usually I can get it a lot more intense. So I'm gonna try. I hope this doesn't mess everything up, but I'm gonna try to go in with a tiny bit of setting spray, and I'm using this one by Morphe. I don't even know if I've ever used this because it's got a really fine mist to it. So just wanna do that all over, and oh, there's a scent to it. And let that dry down a little bit. I don't want to go in while it's still wet, because then it could kind of pick up what's underneath. But let's let that dry a little bit and then go in with another layer of the white. I think that'll help a little bit more. Boom. Probably should have done cream highlight underneath, but I'm taking a slightly denser brush just to do right beside the eye to really get that kind of snatched effect of super, super high cheekbones. Yeah, I think changing the brush really helped. Sometimes it's about what tools you're using too. So if something isn't working out for you, maybe try using a different tool to apply it. and you'll get better results. Now, what's also really going to help is doing some contour. So I'm going to go in with the Lunatic Cosmetics Labs Contour Palette Volume 2, and I'm going to start with a light gray, although I think it might be a little too light, but let's start out with that. I always like to start with the lightest option possible, kind of as a transition shade. Yeah, that's definitely too light, but you can see that there's something there. So that's a nice little transition shade. I'm just going to lay that down first, where I'm going to contour. And then I'm going to go in to the next one up, this one here, and deepen my contours. I'm going to do really sharp contours for the cheekbone because I highlighted it so high. I'm going to do kind of like a curved contour, I think, to go along with that highlight, how it curves up. This effect almost creates like those Lady Gaga really sharp cheeks. The highlight ends in a really kind of tight, sharp triangle, and this adds a lot more length and sharpness to my face. So all I'm doing is contouring and highlighting above where I usually would and pointing it like really upwards in a much more slanted line than I would. I usually would contour like pointed down here, but I'm doing it here. Okay, I went pretty heavy on the forehead contour, but it's okay. And then I'm also going to do a little bit on my chin to also give that sharpness, even though I do have quite a pointed chin. I want to just kind of emphasize it. Then for my nose, I'm going to take a little tiny brush, the same one that I used to highlight. I'm just going to take it and start the contour right at my eyebrows because that really helps to elongate the nose. Just doing this and slowly blending it towards the tip. You can see now how my face is way more three-dimensional than when I started with just the gray base. That's why highlighting and contouring is so important when you're changing your skin color to an unnatural skin shade such as this. Now for brows, I really want to make sure they are quite arched and pointy, and you could do a brow cover up if you have super straight brows. Mine aren't super arched but aren't super straight either. They have a tiny arch to them. This brow is my good brow. You can see it's got a lovely little arch right here. This one's the problem child. We're gonna try to make this work. I'm gonna go in with the NYX Tame and Frame Tinted Brow Pomade in the color black. This is actually like an off black. It's not a pure black. If I need to darken it, then I will later. But as I said, I don't want to go too costumey with this. I want to go more like believable, if that makes sense. Like if this was an actual character in one of the movies, you know? I want to make it look more real. And so using an off black, I think will look a little bit more natural. Then here on the arch, I'm gonna start emphasizing it and over drawing it a tiny bit. I also don't want to thicken my brows that much. I want to have quite thin brows, but I will elongate them quite a bit. Ideally, the brows would have more of an arch to them, but I think this is okay. And now we can move on to the star of the show, which is the eyes, and therefore the Pat McGrath palettes. This collection consists of 3 palettes, so it's 2 little 6-pan palettes. One is the Dark Galaxy palette, and this one is the Galactic Gold palette. And as you can see, they have got this beautiful, beautiful packaging. Unlike the big palettes, these are paper instead of plastic, but this one looks like this. It's so pretty. And the names don't really have to do with Star Wars, they just have to do with space. So like Cosmic, Venomous Void, Bronze Nebula, that kind of thing. So not really Star Wars themed, but the colors are gorgeous. And then this one, it looks a little something like this. I actually really love the color story in this palette. Just having the contrast of the purple with the orange and yellow, like it's a really pretty palette. And these are all shimmers and satin finishes, whereas this one has one matte in it. And then the quote-unquote main palette, the big palette, this is the mothership for Decadence. This is a palette that already exists in the Pat McGrath collection, and it is a permanent part of the collection. What they did is just repackage it so that it would be Star Wars themed. So it looks like this, but it's the exact same palette as the regular Mothership 4 palette. It looks a little something like this, and that to me is a little bit of a bummer. I wish that this would have been an exclusive palette color-wise, but the packaging is really pretty. Like, it's got the Star Wars, it's got the Pat McGrath Labs logo next to it, and this color story, I guess they thought it was appropriate for Star Wars, probably because of the blues and golds and stuff. But I don't know. I wish that the big one would have been an exclusive palette as well. And I feel like I can't talk about these palettes without talking about the struggle that was getting them. So first they did like a soft launch for this palette on Instagram. It was only available for American customers to buy directly through the Instagram app a day before, I believe, that it actually came out. And I saw that and I was like, I want to get it, but I'll wait so that I can get the bundle, because they were doing bundles with the lip products as well. So they had a bundle that was this, and I'm not sure if it came with this specific one, but it was like the bundles of the palettes with the lip colors. Actually, not lip colors. Most of them are lip balms, and we'll get to that in a second. But I saw that and I was like, no, I'll just wait for it tomorrow when it comes out. And then launch day comes around, and turns out they sold out in like minutes. I think in less than an hour they sold out, and I didn't know that was going to be the case because these were on sale all day the day before and they didn't sell out. So I was like, oh, it'll be fine tomorrow. No, they sold out in like seconds, and I was hiking that day, so I didn't see it until I came home, and it was like hours since they had launched, so they were already gone. There was no hope. I actually cried. I literally cried. I know it's just makeup, and I know that's silly, but listen, I'm a silly person. So then I prepared myself for the launch of this one, which was at a later date. And what they were going to do is they were going to send a password. If you subscribe to the newsletter, they'd send a password so that you'd have early access to this. And turns out the launch time, they were doing it at like 8 a.m. East Coast time. So I had to wake up at 5 in the morning, and I kept refreshing my email, waiting for the password, and no email, no password, and it was live on their website and still no password. So what I did was I went on Reddit and I tried to find it there, and people had posted the password, and I was able to then go and purchase the palette on the website. But I did not get an email until hours later after the launch. And by that time, the palettes were sold out already. So a lot of people were pissed. A lot of people didn't think to like go on Google or Reddit or whatever to look for the password to get it from other people who had gotten the email. And by the time they received it, it was sold out already. So everyone was pissed, including me. Even though I had purchased it, I was still upset. If I hadn't thought to look on Reddit, I would have missed out on the palette. And then fast forward to when I received the products. So I bought the palette and all the lip products, and I wasn't going to buy the lip products because most of these are lip balms and they are $40 a pop. $40. So actually with the palette, I bought the bundle that was like the palette and the lip color. There's one lipstick in the collection, but then I went and I bought the 3 other lip balms just because of the packaging, just because of the collection. So I spent $120 on lip balms. I hate myself, and I don't blame you if you hate me too. So yeah, I spent a lot of money on this. And so when I finally got the package sent to my house, it only had the lip products in it. And I freaked. I was like, where the fuck is my palette? Usually if a delivery comes in different packages, in the packing slip, it'll say that your other products are coming in another package. And that wasn't the case for the palette. So I immediately contacted their customer service and I was like, listen, I want my fucking palette. I don't care. I don't care if they sold out in like seconds. I want my fucking palette. Obviously, I didn't word it like that. I should be doing makeup while I'm talking, but I want to concentrate on the makeup. So let me just wrap up the story real quick. Anyway, eventually they did confirm that they were sending me a palette, and I had to get these other 2 palettes off of a scalper through like those apps like Poshmark or Mercari or whatever. So that's how I got these. And one thing that I wasn't expecting when I got this palette is that it came with this envelope that's addressed to Intergalactic Icon, 1600 Major Boulevard, Planet Earth, 0000. When you open it up, it's got a letter regarding your Mothership 4 Decadence eye palette. It says, "Dear intergalactic icon, Mother wants to thank you for joining this cosmic quest for the galaxy's most major makeup. Your gallant gilded Mothership 4 Decadence eye palette has arrived. Along with it, I've included this legendary luxury to commemorate your time aboard the Mothership, creating meteoric majorness and extraterrestrial eyes. May the fierce be with you. Love, Pat." And it came with this metal card. It says the Galaxy Collection, the ship date, and stuff. This is just for collector's purposes. This is just a collector's item. It doesn't give you any perks. It doesn't, give you a discount on your next order or anything like that. It's just a metal card. It's kind of heavy. It's got some weight to it. So that came with it. That was a nice little surprise. But now it's time to dip into these palettes. So I'm going to get them all out in front of me. This one, I just realized, has no mattes. The only matte eyeshadow in the collection is in this palette. That's kind of crazy. So I'm definitely going to be dipping into the matte first. But actually, before we get into that, I think I'm going to apply a lip balm to my lips to just prep them for later when I apply the lipstick. So let's open up these bad boys. The packaging on them is really cute. This one is the Lip Fetish in clear. This one is Nude Astral. This is Gold Astral. So these have shimmer running through them. And then the only actual lipstick is this one, the Lip Fetish in Flesh number 3. I don't know if I like that name, Flesh, but let me pull it out so you can see. It's got the traditional packaging, and then it's got a Star Wars sticker on it, which I don't love. I wish it could have been like engraved in the packaging considering the price of these. This is 40 fucking bucks. And I forgot to mention, this isn't a general Star Wars collection. It's specifically a Rise of Skywalker collection. So it was for that movie. And this is the color. I don't know if I'll be using it today. It might be a little too light for what I'm going. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. But I really wish that the Star Wars was engraved and not just a sticker, because this can just be peeled off. But the packaging on the lip glosses, they're a little bit cuter, especially the R2-D2. I love it so much. It's not even funny. It's got a little beauty mark and again, little sticker on it. I wish it was engraved, but they did change up the packaging for this, although it is literally just a clear lip balm that I spent $40 on. No, I will never get over that. And I will forever hate myself because I hate spending money on things, especially when it's something that I don't need. The gold one has the gold packaging as well, and I'm not sure if any of her other lipsticks have gold packaging. I know that they're usually black with the gold lips, so I think this might be also a different packaging. So this, you can see, has a little bit of color, but it's just shimmer running through it. And then the Stormtrooper one, I actually do love the packaging for these. This one's really pretty too. It's dark red with the black lips. And then it is pink because it's got a ton of pink shimmer running through it. And again, with the little sticker. So I think I might dip into the gold one. And my lips are really gross right now with the gray. So I'm going to clean that off super quick. And I'm just going to go ahead. It's got a very light scent to it. And, oh, why does it look like it's got pink shimmer when I apply it? That's kind of weird. Feels good. Does it feel like a $40 lip balm? Not really. Feels good though. Looks pretty. It's nice. So as I said, I'm going to be dipping into the Dark Galaxy palette first, and I'm going to use this color right here, Venomous Void, which is the only matte in the collection, so that's what I'm going to start with. And I'm going to apply that in my crease, and I'm going to go for like a dark, warm toned eye. I think it's going to tend towards purple on the upper half, and then I'm gonna go with red underneath. But yeah, these colors are definitely colors that I will use in the future. They're all really, really up my alley. So I didn't want this to be something that I was buying just because, unlike the lip balms. But I know that I will get use out of these palettes for sure. I think I'm gonna take the shadow into the inner corner up into the eyebrow, because that just adds to the quote-unquote evil look. I am a Sith after all. I'm tempted to darken the crease with this color right here. I don't know if it's a black. It might be a really dark purple with purple shimmer running through it. I think it might actually be a black eyeshadow. And I'm gonna place it right. Yeah, it's definitely a black eyeshadow. So I'm gonna be very careful with that. And for the Sith, usually they don't have like really heavy makeup, but when they do, it's kind of like dark and grungy almost. So I want to give it that kind of vibe. And because that's a black, I might actually dip into this purple in here instead. Just add more color to that crease. And this one seems to be very sparkly. The black one has shimmer running through it, but once you get it on, can't really tell that there's a shimmer. I imagine you can if you really pack it on, but that's not the case here. I'm just using a little bit. And this purple is even reading kind of black. That's weird. Yeah, like it's reading black almost as well. Interesting. I want to dip into the 3 palettes. So for under my eyes, I'm going to use this palette. I'm going to go in with this red, which on camera looks way more red than in person. In person, it's almost like a copper. It leans a little bit orange. And I'm going to apply that under my eyes. Ooh, I'm getting a lot of fallout, actually. I want to make sure that doesn't get on our highlights. I'm definitely going to deepen this up a lot more under the eyes, but I just wanted to start with this as a base. I'm going to bring this maybe further down than I normally would. Because a lot of the Sith have that sort of like sickly look to them, but we don't want it to look ugly. It's like sickly, but make it fashion still. And this color has a lot of fallout. Oh boy. Not quite sure why, because it's just a regular kind of satin finish. And it seems like it's pretty tightly pressed, but the color I just used and this one seem quite similar, but this one's a little bit more purpley. Although that's how it's reading on camera. In person, it also seems a little bit copper. I think there might be a shift to it. If I'm not mistaken, this color has a shift, so does this one, and I think this one might have a shift too. So this palette is very shifty. So let's try using this color to deepen here. I don't know if that'll work. Let's try that. Ooh, that's pretty. That's like a more intense version of that color. It's not necessarily that much darker, but it just seems a little bit more kind of intense. Kind of look like a vampire right now. I am aware of that, but hopefully by the end, I will not look like one. I definitely want to add some like face tattoos and stuff to make this look a little more like a Sith alien. And then I'm going to deepen it even more with this shade right here. And like I said, I was planning on doing one video and one look per palette, but that's out the window at this point. I can still do it, or at least I can do like a Jedi look as well. Just let me know if you guys would like to see that. But the Sith is my one true calling. So I had to do this first. I also should note that I feel like there's a lot of eyeshadow in my eyes. Like my contacts feel super dry and scratchy. I'm gonna have to go in with some eye drops, but I don't know if it's like kickback from the shadows because that red one did have a lot of fallout. So it might be that. It might have gone into my eyes. So just something to note maybe. I don't know. This isn't necessarily a review to see if you want to buy these palettes, because even if you wanted to, I don't think you could at this point, only if you bought them from resellers. So I don't even know why I'm reviewing the products, but anyway, force of habit, I guess. Oh yeah, there's definitely eyeshadow coating my entire waterline. So it did get into my eyes, but eye drops I think took care of it. But yeah, I've had this problem before with Pat McGrath shadows going into my eyes. I don't know what it is, man. I kind of want to go with this color on the lids just because it's got that duochrome shift. Let me just dip into it and see what it looks like. And I also want to dip into this one too because I'm curious to see if there is a shift. So that's what they look like. The gold, I think it has a very slight green shift. Not that noticeable. This one is, but I don't know if it would look good in this look. I'm gonna start off with this one and then maybe darken it up if need be, because I do want this to be a really intense eye. Let's see. I really want the lid color to be super intense, so I'm gonna go in with the NYX Pigment Primer. primer first to make sure it has something to stick onto. It's always a good idea to do this for metallic eyeshadows. This will just give them an extra boost. And then I don't know if I should go in with my fingers. Let's try a brush first. I might need to go in with my fingers. Let me just do my fingers first and really press that on. That is a really pretty shift. It's almost like a dark red and purple. I feel like I have a ColourPop product that's similar to this, but that is very pretty. And then I'll use the brush to get in the inner and outer edges where it's harder to get in with a finger. So that's really pretty. Let me compare with the ColourPop product that I have. It's the Jelly Much Shadow in Half Moon. I think it's got like the same sort of shift or similar anyway. Oh no. It dried out. Oh, bitch. But anyway, I can swatch it here on the side. This one shifts to blue and this shifts to purple, but I feel like it's the same kind of vibe. And I think they do have one that's this shift. I just don't have it because I already had this one, but now it's all dried out. Oh, that's not nice. If you guys know how to reactivate these Jelly Much eyeshadows, please let me know in the comments. I could probably do it with like a mixing medium or something, but if you know something for sure to use with these, please let me know. I wish that these palettes had one of the like glitter finish eyeshadows so that I could top this off. I don't think any of them do. If you compare it to my Mothership 5 palette, these here are all glitters and they don't have like a colored base to them. They're not an eyeshadow. They just have straight up little glitter flecks. I think that one of the colors here has glitter in it, this red one, but I do believe it's an eyeshadow with glitter in it. Yeah, see, it's not just pure glitter. It's just a glittery eyeshadow, and that is really pretty. That actually reminds me of the red in the Mothership 5 palette. Let me compare it. They definitely have a different finish. This one looks and feels like silk almost, and there's no gold shimmer running through it, but they look quite similar. This one's a little bit more pink toned, but similar effect. And this is like one of my all-time favorite eyeshadows. Now I have two of them. Yay. For the inner corner, I'm torn between a few different options. I was swatching some stuff here, swatched like 4 different things, and I still don't know what to do. I think I'm gonna start off with this color right here. It's got a shift, so it shifts from like pink to gold, and I don't know if it's gonna look too pink. And I kind of wanted to layer that on top of a bronze, but let me just see what it looks like by itself. If it's like straight up pink, yeah, which I think it is. Okay, might not go with it, but also at the same time, I think it might be really pretty. Oh, so many options. Okay, so what I'm thinking of doing is layering some stuff. I thought about going in with this orangey bronze just to add a third color in there. Ooh, and that's really pretty. Okay, I'm digging that. It's like a darker inner corner situation, but I'm gonna layer some lighter colors on top. But I do like this. It's dare I say too colorful for a Sith, because I've got purple, orange, red, but it's a high fashion Sith, so it's okay. And again, fallout galore. I don't know if that's from previous colors, but gotta be careful with that. And I'm really gonna blow this out a little bit. You can say I definitely look sickly, but in a pretty way. Very much like vampires. They look sickly in a pretty way. This could be a straight up vampire makeup look, but it's not gonna be, because the face tattoos are gonna make all the difference. She says, hopefully. And then I'm gonna layer this guy on top. This one's more chunky, so I might have to use it wet. I don't know if just the regular brush picks it up that well. I don't know if I like adding that gold in there. I kind of really like the orange, but I do like that little hint of light. So let me just layer this guy on, the pink one that I used first. Let me layer that on top of these two and see what happens. Might have to use it wet. I think I like that, layering those 3, but I will get it wet just using some setting spray, grabbing a little bit. Ooh, now it's really, really intense pink, I'm gonna go back, keep layering until I'm happy. Gonna go back with this one this time and grab it wet and layer that there. I'm just trying to create dimension to this eye. You can see that it creates a really intense glow now. There's still that hint of orange. This one used wet is actually really good. I love the Pat McGrath shadows because a lot of them have like a duochrome finish, and so they just look so gorgeous in person. The camera won't necessarily be able to catch it, but in person I always get complimented when I'm wearing Pat McGrath eyeshadows. And even by like people who don't know makeup, don't care about makeup, I always get comments about my eyeshadow when I'm wearing Pat McGrath because it just has a different finish. I've heard a lot of people talking shit saying, oh, it's just expensive for no reason. It's just because of the brand name. It's like any other shimmery eyeshadow. It's not. It is not. It definitely has a different finish, and you can tell when someone's wearing Pat McGrath. Obviously not every shade is going to be super unique, but the ones that are, like the ones from the Mothership 5 palette, you can tell when someone's wearing it. I'm actually kind of tempted to use the lid color wet too, because I don't think I did that. So I'm going to pick it up on my packing brush, and then I'm going to wet it with some setting spray and go over that, and then grab some more, just to make sure it's as intense as it possibly can be. I don't know if that made much difference, but I just want to make sure it's super, super intense. Okay, I do want to take that first color, the matte one that I used, and just go a little bit along the edges to kind of bring it outwards, just so it's a little bit more visible, because it got a little lost with the black, so I just want it to come out again. I'm keeping the shape pretty round and pretty concentrated close to my eye. I'm not bringing it out, which maybe I should. It would definitely help with that effect that I created with the contour. If I did, I might do a little bit just to help define that edge a little bit more, but I want to keep it more rounded than anything. And I'm just going to take a little bit more of that purple. Oh yeah, when you shift it to the side, you can tell it's definitely black based. Like when you see it straight on, it looks like a purple eyeshadow, but it's actually a black eyeshadow. And that's interesting that they chose that for both palettes, to have a black based shadow with purpley shimmer running through. I'm just taking that closer to my lash line just to connect that up there and define it a little bit more. But oh, I am liking this eye. Yeah. Now I just want to see what this lipstick looks like and then go from there for my lip choice, but this is really like a nudie color. It might be a little bit sheer because I have the lip balm on, but I think this is not like a super matte formula either. I could be totally wrong. Let me see. Oh no, this is a tinted lip balm, you guys. So I have 4 lip balms. Okay. Okay, this is a really nice color though. I really like those two mixed together. So I'll probably be using this like regularly, but for this look, we need something a little stronger. And unfortunately, I don't have any other Pat McGrath lip products. Lip products are something that I avoid buying because I already have so many that I only buy colors that I truly do not have in my collection. So I'm gonna look for something that's appropriate. I'm thinking of going with a really deep purpley tone. Let's see. My lips do feel very hydrated though. I just remembered I also do have the lipsticks from the CoverGirl Star Wars collection. This came out right when I moved to the United States, and I didn't buy the whole collection because I was kind of broke at the time, but I did buy the lipsticks, and I bought one mascara that is completely erased now. It used to say "May the Force be with you" on it. Now you can't even tell what brand it is because I used this as my regular mascara and it was in my purse and it just wore off, which is a shame. But I do have these lip colors and I'm wondering if I should use the purple or the red from this collection. I've swatched it here on the back and I think it would go really well with this eye situation that we've got going on. I haven't really used these lipsticks. I've used some of them. This is the red. I've used this orange before. It's like a shimmery golden orange. I don't think I've ever used these two, the light ones. There's a silver that looks a little something like that. and a light purple. They're all very shimmery, which isn't my favorite thing in the world for a lipstick, but I do like that they were adventurous with their color choices for this collection. I think I'm gonna do the outline of my lips with a liquid to matte lipstick, and then I'll use this one in the center. So I think that'll be a nice little combo. I'm going to blot my lips off because there's a lot of product on them right now. For these lips, we want to go like bad bitch, right? So I will overline a bit. I don't think I've ever used this applicator straight on, and I'm not going to do that. This formula is so liquid that look what happens. It instantly transfers, but it's great for getting super, super crisp lines. This is the Fenty liquid to matte lipstick, by the way, in the color, oh, I can't read that, Undefeated. But this is definitely the liquidiest formula I've ever used for a lipstick. It feathers even on my hands. So I imagine people with wrinkles around their lips cannot use this formula whatsoever because it will feather. You know how sometimes eyeliner, if you test it on your hand, it feathers out? This lipstick does the same thing. I think I'm gonna go for like a Marilyn Monroe lip shape where the outer corner is exaggerated and drawn out, and that instantly makes your lips look 10 times fuller. And I want to do a sharp Cupid's bow. Okay, so that's the lip shape I've gone for. And now I'm going to take the CoverGirl Star Wars. And this is from The Force Awakens. So they made a collection for that. This is the number 50. And I'm going to take that smack in the middle. And I think this is like a dark purple with, it seems like there's a shift to it, but I don't know if there really is. I think the reason I never wear this is because it's a little bit patchy. There. That's a little bit better. Ooh, that's hot. I love me a dark lip color. I need to do this makeup when I don't have gray skin. I'm torn. I don't know if I want some color on the cheeks or not. I really don't know. I might intensify the gray a little bit, but I also think this could look good with some color. I just don't know. I'm actually going to go in with a different gray. I'm going to go in with this one because you see it's got a little bit of warmth to it. Just gonna run that on the cheeks, but I don't know if I should add like a hint of something. I think this brush I'm using might have a little hint of something on it, or I could be going crazy, but I think there's a hint of something on this brush and I don't know what it is, but I'm thinking of dipping oh so slightly just once and just, yeah, I don't know. I'm thinking about going in with a little bit of highlighter. This is a new one by Milani. It's the Ludicrous Lights highlighter, and it's more of like a glitter than it is a highlighter. It's like super chunky. When you put it on, it's more like a glitter than a traditional like metallic finish highlighter, and I think it could look really pretty. I'm gonna start by applying it on my brow bone and then see how I feel about that. I'm gonna take that and just run it right here, although I don't think it's going to stick super well because I've got a super matte base on, and usually these things need a little cream, a little tackiness to stick onto, but you can still see it. This would probably layer really well on the eyes, but I don't know if I want to mess with that eyeshadow that I've got going on. I like the little hint of something that it gives, so I might add it to my cheekbones. Just very lightly though. Yeah, it's not really sticking since it's just glitter. It's kind of just floating around the place. I think I would need to do another layer of setting spray and then do this. And I've got more fallout on my nose. What is happening is what I want to know. So maybe if I do another little quick just on the sides of my face, let that dry off a little bit because I don't want like blinding highlight. Go in. Oh yeah, now you can definitely see it. I'm gonna let that dry a little bit more. I don't know if I like that. Help. Oh, because it's making this area a little bit darker when it shifts. Oh, I think I lifted some makeup. Fuck. Okay. I'm gonna go back in with the white and just boop, boop, boop. I'm just gonna stick to the white because that seems to be working well. I'm just gonna really emphasize those highlights. And even though I've got I got lipstick on my teeth apparently too. Even though I've got a shit ton of eyeshadow in my waterline, I'm still gonna go in with a pencil. And this is, oh wait, I'll tell you what pencil it is in a second. Oh, that didn't make much of a difference because there is a shit ton of product in there. This is the Melt Dusk eyeliner, and it's a nice metallic orange. You can see that a tiny bit better. Let me clean up this side. I'm gonna get a Q-tip wet with some eye drops and just clean off that waterline. And then there we go. This matches the inner corner pretty well. Next up, let's do mascara and then we'll do the tattoos. So I guess I'll use my Star Wars mascara even though you can't tell what it is anymore. Yeah, I don't think I bought anything else from the collection. And actually, now that I think about it, it makes me incredibly happy to know that I'm at a point in my life where like I went from not being able to afford a CoverGirl collection to being able to afford an entire Pat McGrath collection. That's kind of crazy, and it makes me really happy to see how much I've grown in the past like 4 or 5 years. Not just financially, obviously, but you know, in life in general. Now I've put all my Pat McGrath products away because I don't want to risk them getting dirty, and I'm gonna grab my Wolf face paint palette, and I'm gonna be using the gray in here because I want to go for a more subtle tattoo effect. I'm not gonna go in with stark black. And I'm gonna grab a tiny little liner brush. This is a paintbrush, it's not a makeup brush, and I still kind of don't know what tattoos I'm gonna do. I did some research on Zabrak tattoos. If you're familiar with Darth Maul, he's a Zabrak. Asajj Ventress is also one, and she's got tattoos. Hers are very subtle. It's just like 2 right here and then around her ear. Those were her original tattoos. But one thing that is very popular is chin tattoos among women. So I think I'm gonna start there. And oh, this gray might be too light. So let's just see. It darkens up when it dries, so it might actually be the perfect color. I'm trying to go for symmetry here. I think this is actually going to be the perfect color. Ooh, yeah. Okay, I'm getting excited. Now what else to do? I definitely should do something here. Let's see. Let's do a little more research. Probably should have done that before. That's not like me. I do not come prepared for these things. Okay, I think I quite like the idea of something here in the center of the forehead. I like don't breathe while I'm doing this, and that is totally not symmetrical. So let's fix that up. And this is definitely going to be the hardest part of this look, is doing very symmetrical minimal lines. And what I always tell people is the only way to do it is to practice. The only way to get good at it is to practice. If you want to practice, you should try one day without like any base makeup on your face. Just try doing symmetrical designs on your face. And if you don't have any base, you can just erase it if you make a mistake. Always start with smaller shapes and then work your way up from there. Okay, so I've gone ahead and done all the tattoos. I wanted to keep it still very delicate. I didn't want to do too much in the center of the face. I just wanted to decorate the perimeter. I added a little nod to Asajj Ventress with the 2 little lines on the cheekbone, but I did add a little twist to it, so I'm pretty happy with this. I'm gonna go ahead and put on the Violet Voss Fire and Eyes lashes off camera, and I'll be back to show you the finished look. And this is the finished look. I was gonna let my hair down, but I kind of like the bald illusion that's happening because it's very like Asajj Ventress-esque. And yeah, I am quite happy with this look. I'm glad that I finally dipped into the Pat McGrath Star Wars collection. It was driving me crazy that I hadn't used it yet, and it makes me even happier that I used it to create a Sith. I haven't done a Star Wars themed look in so long. I think the last time I did one was when Peter Mayhew passed away. He was the actor that played Chewbacca. Actually, now that I looked at it, I did it on May the 4th. So yeah, it's been a year, guys. And the only thing missing is a freaking lightsaber, which I don't have, or like any sort of light that reflects red. Actually, I do have gels. That might work. I'm gonna experiment a little bit. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. It was a little bit chatty, but I needed to get out my experience purchasing this collection. But I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please let me know if you want to see me create a Jedi look with these palettes. May the 4th be with you, even though it's not May 4th anymore, but shh. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you to all my patrons who support me, and I will see you next time. Bye!